Y'all, things are getting spooky. If you watched that game last night, I think there are some takeaways that we can all have. Not only are the starters for the Denver Nuggets dominant, but just how good is the Denver Nuggets bench? Also, there are always signs early in the year. Now, while it might not be perfect, this team that we're looking at, are there some early signs of a potential championship that are already showing through 4 games into the season? Y'all know we got to get into it, y'all. This is Swiper, and this is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. I hope you're having a spectacular, wonderful day. I hope your Thursday is just as good as mine. Got a workout in, got to walk in. Been a great day of work, making sure you're taking care of yourself, taking care of your dog, taking care of your family. Do the best that you can. We are approaching holiday season. There are a lot of pressures on all of us. I want y'all to make sure you're taking time for yourself as you get ready for Thanksgiving, for Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, anything that you celebrate. Make sure you take time for yourself. Also, it's holiday weekend. Try to have some fun. If you want to celebrate, go out with your friends, get some candy corn, some hot tamales, some Twizzlers, some Twix, some peanut butter cups, some Snickers. Just go out and have some fun, enjoy yourself. But y'all, we got to get straight into it with this Denver Nuggets team. We got to get into it with this Denver Nuggets team. I'm trying to tell you, this team feels different. This team looks different. This team sounds different. Now, I want everybody to understand what I'm saying. Well, Swipe is just the Pelicans. Surely you're not overreacting to a Pelicans win. Swiper, it's just game 4. Surely you're not overreacting to game 4. But what I really am trying to communicate with you all is, if you look at this season, you look at this team, and you look at the way they have played, the Denver Nuggets, I think, are showing a level of tenacity that we honestly haven't seen in quite some time. One of the things that I most love about where the Nuggets are right now is that they're finding multiple ways to win games, multiple ways to come back from whether it's a deficit or if they get a lead like they did yesterday of 18 or more and it goes down to 6. They're able to put the pedal to the metal and put a 29-2 run together. And for me, one of the early signs of greatness is how do you respond in adversity? One of the early signs of greatness is even in games that you're losing or lose, what is your process to get back into the game? What are you finding to be successful that helps for you to take care of business and get back where you need to be? And what I'm saying now is that with this Denver Nuggets team, they seem to be feeling so confident in the roster and in the players on the team. Now, one of the best things about sports, y'all, if anybody's ever played sports, coached sports, been involved in sports, all of that, and when you know that you got a squad, when you got a group of guys or gals around you, that you believe that if something isn't going right, your brother or your sister got your back. If something is happening that I'm not doing correct, I know that my brother and my sister got my back. My teammate got my back. If I don't have the juice, then somebody else will be able to provide it. Or if you're struggling, I'll be able to provide it. The difference with this team is that the Nuggets starters, not only are they dominant in their own right, but they're also in a position where they feel confident that when they go to the bench and they start staggering their lineups, they're going to find another way. They're going to find another path. They're going to be able to put together runs and sustain possessions in order to play really high level, really good basketball. And how do I know? I want y'all to get this, because this is, for me, uber important. And I'm going to pull up multiple sites to kind of cite what exactly it is that I'm trying to highlight right now. So again, I understand it's just 4 games into the year. I know that. But if you just look right now at where the Nuggets rank as an overall team, Do you know that currently in the NBA, early, they're 3-1 with a plus 14.4 net rating on the season? 14.4. Now, that's obviously going to be skewed from last night because of a dominant win. But if you look at some of the other stuff about like just the lineup data for this roster, the Nuggets starters are like, they're still finding their way, but they're cooking. But the bench units this year, the lineups when you have Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, Payton Watson, Jonas Valanciunas, and Tim Hardaway Jr., do you know that according to Databaller, that they have played 20 minutes together this season? They have a plus 20.5 net rating, and they got a 161.5 offensive rating, which is stupendous. And if you look at PBP stats and you just do Jokic and Murray, like what does the on-off look like for them? Y'all, this year, when Jokic and Murray are on the floor together in 95 minutes, they have a plus 24.7 net rating. Plus 24.7 net rating. They have a 104 defensive rating and a 129.53 offensive rating. Again, small sample size, I get it. But that's like insanely dominant. And then if you look at Jokic when Jamal Murray goes off the floor, 42 minutes. Jokic, a plus 10.28 net rating. Okay. But to me, this is the kicker. Do y'all know that Jamal Murray, without Jokic, according to PBP stats, has a plus 10.25 net rating? The Nuggets have a 130 offensive rating when he's on the floor. And the great thing about it is there's reasons why. Because if you look at Jonas Valanciunas, Jamal Murray, and Tim Hardaway Jr., they have played 34 minutes together this year. That trio, 137 offensive rating. And what I love is that they're all finding ways to mold and mesh their games together. And when you watch them play versus the New Orleans Pelicans yesterday, you can just see that like the starters were going crazy. I think Jokic had 11, 5, and 5 in the first quarter. He was cooking. But then when Jonas Valanciunas came into the game, one of the things that for me was the biggest takeaway is that, okay, they're a +9 with Jokic on the floor last night. But as soon as Jonas Valanciunas came into the game, they were able to extend the lead from when Jokic sat down from 9 to 18. And David Adelman, when he was asked last night about the stretch that when Jokic and Murray and the starters came back into the game, how they gave up a 12-0 run because the offense was kind of wobbly, and then the Pelicans started making shots finally, and they went into the half 53-47 instead of up 18 like they originally were. David Adelman said, look, that's something that we have to work on. Like, I might have to get them back in the game sooner because they might have gotten cold and or out of rhythm. And I want y'all to, like, really sit with that real quick. What do you mean that the Nuggets are in a position to where the bench was playing so well that now you have to consider getting the starters back in the game early so that they can get rhythm back when they step on the court? That way when they leave after having a dominant first quarter, they don't come back in the game and they're completely cold. Y'all, Jokic sat from minute 12 to 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter. 12 minutes to 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter. Y'all, that's insane. And it felt as if they didn't play Jokic for the rest of the quarter, I think everybody in Nuggets Nation would have been like, hey, fine, Jonas Valanciunas is cooking. They're cooking. Like Jamal Murray, you're out there, whoever's out there with him, you're cooking. Bruce Brown was having his way, made some great defensive plays. Payton Watson has been stupendous all year, but the defensive pressure he was putting on Jordan Poole, he got a block on Jordan Poole at the layup. He blocked the ball accidentally to Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey then lines up for a three-pointer thinking he's going to get an open shot, and then Payton Watson, after blocking Jordan Poole, runs out, blocks Sadiq Bey on the three. And then he had a great possession where he was wrapping around a down screen when they were trying to get somebody going off ball. He gets a steal, reaching his right hand in, gets the ball, throws a nice lob pass ahead to Christian Brown, and Christian Brown finishes with the dunk. So even just like Payton Watson, Jonas Valanciunas, they're finding ways to use their own specific skill set to influence the outcome of the game. So I do think that this is going to be a common point this year is how do we make sure that both the bench is using their skill set to hammer leads, but also for the Nuggets, for their starters, how do we make sure they're able to stay in the game throughout the year? And so it's going to be a lot of interesting conversations around that. But I actually want to talk a little bit about Jonas Valanciunas because there are some specific things that he's adding to this roster that I think are really important. We're going to talk about all that and more on the other side here at Locked On Nuggets. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance in endless ways to move. Whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors, this is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. Now, I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually traps your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep smarter and safer. And again, y'all, personalized class recommendations keep you engaged, so you get the workouts tailored to your vibe and energy level each week. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. We'll be back for segment 2 here at Locked On Nuggets. We're back for segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets. Shout out, y'all. This is your boy swiping with you every single day. Make sure you give us a 5-star review on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify if you want to listen to more great content being made by Matt Moore, Ryan Blackburn, and myself. Also, make sure if you're watching this on video and you're saying on YouTube, who are those great folks making content on Locked On Nuggets? Give us a subscription. We are on the way to 15,000 subscribers this year. We are on the way up. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your mama, your daddy, your guardian, your grandmother, your grandmother, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, your friend and them, Pookie and them. Anybody that you know, share Locked On Nuggets with them. Y'all, let's get straight back into it. So Jonas Valanciunas. The great Jonas Valanciunas himself. Now, I remember before the year when I was talking about Jonas Valanciunas, I was like, you know what? I think this is still like one of the best players in the league. Like among centers. He's one of the best centers still. 30 in the league. I think he's still super efficient. He's still super smart. He's still so big. He's such a force. And because he's such a good scorer and has such good touch, that offers so much upside to what he will be when Jokic isn't in the game. And one of the great things about Jonas Valanciunas, y'all have to remember, in case you forgot, which you probably didn't, Jonas has only ever been the main option as a player. He's only ever been the starting center up until last season, really. So once he left the Raptors, he's been a consistent starter in the league. He then gets traded to the Sacramento Kings. He's playing behind Domantas Sabonis, and that was really the first time that he was ever put in a situation where he wasn't the guy at the center spot. So when he gets to Denver, I think a lot of people are wondering and questioning, it's like, will he be able to fit into that role easily? And if not, what are they going to do? But the thing is, because Jonas Valanciunas is such a professional, he has literally just allowed for the Nuggets to build their second unit around him and his skill set. Because yesterday, when the Pelicans were playing zone versus Denver, you had in the game Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Payton Watson, Cam Johnson, and Jonas Valanciunas. So they're trying multiple lineups with Jonas to figure out who's the best players to put around him, who needs to be on the ball, and who the wing's going to be. And I think the biggest attachment factor you're going to see this year is going to be Payton Watson and Jonas Valanciunas, because if you even look at some of their numbers this year and checking PBP stats, so you get Jonas Valanciunas and Payton Watson. Y'all, so far this season, they have a plus 8.7 net rating. Like, that's really good. That's really good because you just want to make sure that you're giving Jonas another defender around him to be able to take care of some of those rim protection responsibilities, but also just even moving off the ball. But if you look at Jonas's play types this year, yesterday when the Pelicans ran zone, they were leaving the middle of the floor wide open because the Nuggets had so many different options on the floor that were slashers, shooters. Jonas got the ball against Misi, was able to get position about 6 feet away from the basket, popped a fadeaway, and it was a bucket. And so you're just kind of like watching Jonas over the course of this year, and it's like, remember the Suns game? Jonas got multiple pickups, multiple slashes to the rim because, Bruce Brown is diving to the basket with the ball. Jonas is able to use his leverage, use his athleticism, use his size to get to the rim and finish those possessions. And then Jonas, even this year, because he's such a good mid-range shooter, that now if you do run pick and pop and he's lower than around that nail area, so lower than the three-point line, he's so proficient in that area that you can make him a bona fide weapon in those spots. And so, by the way, I want to say this is the third game, maybe the fourth, but definitely the third game where the Warriors, the Suns, and the Pelicans have run zone with Jonas Valanciunas in the game. All of them. And so far this year, Jonas is picking zone apart. So if I look at even some of his numbers, this year Jonas is averaging 1.33 points per possession versus zone defense this year in cuts. And in post touches, Jonas is averaging 2.0 points per possession versus zone. And this is a big deal because if you have somebody that can constantly take advantage of these zone looks when teams are trying to utilize a smaller lineup, but they don't have the ability to bang and contest with how big he is, that just changes the dynamic of how good your offense can be. And also, too, another thing is Jamal Murray's going to be out there with him. So when they're out there together, you're still getting an elite screen setter with Jamal. And you're getting somebody who's still a good enough offensive player that if Jamal ever needs to be bailed out of a drive because he got too deep and there's two on him, or if he's extending to the wing, right or left, in that situation, then he's able to extend the defense to get two on him, and then Jonas is sitting there, a good enough passer to operate it out of the short roll, good enough shooter to hit the mid-range shot. But also, if you're just getting his momentum as a diver downhill, he's a really good finisher around the rim area. I just think that dynamic is going to be so important for this team as the year goes, because they're really going to need him to do a lot of heavy lifting at times versus these second units, just by nature of the fact that the way the Nuggets are going to be guarded this year. And Jonas is so big that when he gets these mismatches on the inside, there's just nothing you can do about it. I mean, in so many ways, he is just like Jokic. He obviously isn't as good as he is. He obviously is not as talented of a scorer, passer, or shooter as Jokic. But because he is still one of the upper tier big man post scorers in the league, it just gives you so many options. And so somebody's even noting, tomorrow they play versus the Portland Trailblazers. Well, hey, Donovan Clingan, that's a real good matchup. That's a really good matchup. Obviously, they got Robert Williams. Hansen Yangus not playing super well yet. I think he's just going to take time to really figure out just how good he is and what he needs to do overall, just working with the roster. But if you look at the team, it's a really good team. And I think this is going to be one of the best tests of proof of concepts for the Nuggets, because the Portland Trailblazers are also a big team in their own right. And they have a lot of veterans on the roster as well. So it's going to be really fun to kind of see how they mix and match a lot of these lineups, versus the Trailblazers. So it's going to be good, man. I think one of the more underrated national media stories this year was just the fact that Jonas was being plug and play. And people knew the Nuggets were getting a backup center. But I think the Nuggets have been able to manufacture their own offense with Jonas. And I think that's different than just having a quality backup center. But when you have the ability to hey, we're going to run more post touches and screen and rolls with our primary guard, and we're going to kind of funnel a lot of these offensive touches to you because you're good enough to be able to be used similarly as Jokic, where you can make all these passes. Teams have to double down on their interior paint defense. Because when you saw the Wolves game, when he played versus Rudy Gobert, Jokic gets 2 quick fouls on him. Rudy Gobert has to stay in there versus Jonas Valanciunas. And in that matchup, Jonas Valanciunas picks up another foul on Rudy Gobert. And what I think is going to be fun is that when you play versus the New York Knicks, Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, well, one of those players are going to go out, and instead of them having to worry about Zeke Naji, now you got to worry about a legitimate center. And you can still couple that size with athleticism on the wings and shooting on the wings. So it really gives you like a lower end NBA team, because the second unit, they're like almost their own starting five in another way. They're not an elite starting five, but they're good enough to like be able to push you as a roster. And I think the OKC game said a lot about that when they were missing all their players in the starting lineup except for Cam Johnson, and they still took it to OKC. I think they won 59-46 in the first half when everybody was fully healthy on the floor, except for J-Dub in that game. So just really interesting, man. I'm really excited to see how this process continues to build itself over the course of the year. On the other side, I'm talking about Payton Watson, man, because Payton Watson didn't get his contract extension that he wanted, but he's taken a leap nonetheless, and this is going to be really important for this season. We'll talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Now, what I love about Rippling, it removes the bottlenecks in busy work that slows teams down. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access, it runs automatically and perfectly in sync. It's very simple to use. It gives companies one source of truth for their people, data, and everything they touch. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Your ambition has met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and EFTs, options, futures, and crypto, all in one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legend Advanced Tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood Strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. We'll be back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. What's going on, y'all? We are back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. This is your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Make sure you tap in each and every day, y'all. So Payton Watson, y'all. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Again, I know it's early. But he's taking a leap. He has functionally grown in so many meaningful ways this year as a basketball player. And because he's been so committed to doing all the things the right way, I mean, he's really, man, like turned into a dominant wing defender for this team as well. And if you look at some of the defensive numbers, y'all, right now through the early part of the year, Payton Watson has become an elite defender versus spot-up shooters. He's only allowing 0.40 points per possession when he's facing the opponent's spot-up shooter. Like, his ability to close out and use his length is insane. And he's learning more and more how to use his length, athleticism to even be able to chase around screens better. And like I said, he had a really good play last night where he was able to get around the screen, got a steal, and also was able to get a pass to Christian Brown for a wide open dunk. I think what's happening is, since Payton Watson is in year 4 of the system, he's more confident in himself. He's more confident in what the team is asking him to do. Jokic, Murray, Gordon, and Brown, and everybody else on the roster, they're more confident in his game. And subsequently, David Adelman is more confident in him. So what happens is, as teams give you more responsibility as a basketball player, especially when you're young, all it does is help to accelerate your process. And the fact that Payton Watson is getting as many touches as the primary initiator of the offense as he is, I think is going to have a gargantuan effect on just what he becomes this year. And if you look at the box score numbers from yesterday, they tell a good story about Payton. But he was even better than what the numbers were suggesting. Now, if you told me or said to anybody before the year that, like, hey, you're going to get games from Payton Watson where he's going to give you 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks, that's Mr. Do Everything. That's Mr. Do It All. But what I love is that Payton is utilizing his IQ to understand the moment, understand possession, and understand how he needs to be able to operate on the floor to maximize other people. And the fact that you're already game 4 into the year and Payton Watson is generating 5 assists a game, now whether they be simple dump-offs to Jonas Valanciunas in the middle of the paint, which is what 2 of them were, or you get in a situation, like I said, where he's chasing around Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy doesn't realize he's on his backside. This is with 6 minutes left into the third quarter, 6 minutes and 23 seconds exactly. He gets a steal on Trey Murphy, battles for the ball, gets the ball back, and then without hesitation throws a great lob forward to Christian Brown, who ends up getting the dunk. Like, I just think this is elite stuff from Payton. This is really good development from Payton. You know, Jokic had a full court pass that he threw out to Payton Watson. And even in this moment, like last year, a couple years ago, if Payton gets this ball in this situation where he has to jump up and grab the ball at the nail, there's 2 Pelicans down there with him, he would usually try to go score that. But now because he understands, like, I'm a larger part of an organism, and I know that if Jamal gets a wide open shot here, that's a really elite shooter wide open. Or if we have to reset the play, I can just get back involved in another direction, in another way. But he gives the ball to Jamal Murray, and Jamal Murray finishes with a 3-pointer. And then again, Jonas Valanciunas in the game. Then you get a little DHO that Bruce Brown runs with Payton Watson. Payton Watson looks over the top of Sadiq Bey, throws the pass right into Bruce Brown, and Bruce Brown has the left-handed layup. So it's just like steps into development, steps into processing, steps into playmaking, steps into scoring. Every game just adding little by little by little by little by little. And I think this is going to be what helps determine just how good Denver is this year. It's that little development stuff from Payton Watson as it continues to pay off. It's the little development stuff from Julian Strawther that continues to pay off. And I think once you get like a real identity established with that second unit especially, I mean, folks, we could be looking at like the best bench the Nuggets have had since maybe the J.R. Smith Birdman days. I'm talking about that good. And again, this is not a guarantee to win the title. Well, I'm picking them to win the title. Everybody got to stay healthy. But what you're seeing is that sometimes process is more important than results. And when you look at the way Denver is winning, they're channeling different parts of their team, different parts of their core in order to do that. And Jokic really, from a scoring standpoint, he's just kind of cruising right now. He's passing the ball. One thing David Adelman has done that I love that he's done is that he's taken the 3-man game, which is usually Murray, Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and dunker spot. He's brought all of the lot of the Nuggets offense up to the nail away from the rim. And I think some of that is a strategy standpoint of like, how do you make your team more valuable to guard? Like, how do you find ways to create more advantages for your best offensive players? And so when you have them all kind of floating around the top of the key, and then they're running back screens for each other, running flare screens for each other, they're running pin downs for each other, they're running elevator screens for each other. You just keep going through that list. That's what makes them so special. And I think the level of shot making we're getting from Tim Hardaway Jr. right now, it's just insane, y'all. It's just insane. Like Tim Hardaway Jr., I think he's missed 4 threes in the last 2 games. You know, he looks confident. He looks like he knows what he's supposed to be doing. He's finding ways to be impactful on the floor beyond even just scoring. So They just have, man. They have a lot, and they have a really good players that are really finding themselves. And again, this is so early in the year. I think this is going to be the worst version of them that we see. Y'all, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you enjoyed last night's game. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Drop a 5-star review on Apple iTunes and Spotify as well. Y'all know what time it is. This is your boy Swiper. I will see you on the other side.